Do you want to share with us about your first experience of spinal flow?
Yes, absolutely. Um, I have to have it on myself. I have to drive anywhere from 2.5 to 4.5 hours. And so the first time I went, and it was in a snowstorm very early in the morning. But I was determined to have a session done. My backstory is I've had a 5-level neck fusion about 4 years ago. And ever since then, I've had some very strange symptoms. A lot of them have dissipated, but the main thing was I just felt like from here up to here was just a solid piece of cement. I mean, even lifting my arms up, it felt like it was choking me. So, my first session after we were done, I felt a little bit more range of motion and a little bit more movement. And then got in the car and drove another 4.5 hours in a snowstorm. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to ruin everything, right? I'm not going to feel anything. But I woke up the next morning and I stood up and I moved my head and I just felt different. And truly, it took me about an hour to figure out what had changed. And for me, it felt like my head was now connected to my body again. So I had been walking around, like I said, with this, felt like this cement block, and there was no connection. And so that was pretty amazing for me. Yeah, that was a beautiful thing because I don't know, it was just interesting that I could feel that difference, and everything was flowing. It was beautiful.
That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing. I find that a lot that, a lot of, and that's a lot of neck fusions. And like you said, when there's so much surgery or so much fusion happening in your neck, it can feel that your head is not connected to the rest of the body. And we're
Yeah.
all one, our brain and spinal cord and nerves are connected. So we do need flow up and down the spine for healing to happen. So I love that straight away you felt like, oh, a release of this and feeling more you again, which is beautiful. And what a commitment to my aim is to have spinal flow practitioners around the world. Like I am working hard to do that, but I'm really honored at your dedication to, having your first spinal flow session and going there. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I found it interesting that the next day it took me, like I said, an hour or so to even realize what had actually happened, to realize how I was supposed to feel normally.
Yeah. And that's a funny thing. A lot of our clients say, like, it's kind of like when someone lies down the table, it's like, well, healing has to happen now. It's like, well, that's not how healing works. Healing happens in the timing that healing happens. It could be during a session, it could be after, could be the next morning, it could be 2 days later. Like the body takes time to adapt. And when there's that amount of change with decreasing blockages and increasing flow in a session, the body needs to adjust to that with time. So yeah, it can take time. But I love
Yeah.
how a lot of people used to say to me, "Oh, since I've been coming to the session, I'm backwards. It's like I'm standing backwards." I'm like, "No, you're actually just straight." And they're like, "Oh wow, I've been standing this way the whole time." I love the changes when people are like, "No, there's something really different here," which is cool.